Hello, welcome to the Mario Kart Wii LP. Leaf Cup. We've already played as every single character in the game apart from one. But we haven't played every kart or bike. So, let's pick some of our favourite lightweights. Let's pick some of our favourites from each class and use them to show these off. For this cup, I'm going to be using the remaining bikes. I want to end off this LP on a kart. So, here we go. We're on a bike, the bubble bike, and we're doing the Leaf Cup, which contains quite a few neat tracks. First off, the DS Desert Hills. That would be so different. And something I've not mentioned, I think, with the past ones. I think we've done another DS track. The DS tracks, in my opinion, benefit a lot from going on to the Wii. They were in 3D on the DS, but it didn't quite click as heavily as it should, in my opinion, on the DS. On the Wii, they just seem so much bigger and stuff, more expansive. They look a lot nicer, but I don't really care for graphics being a major point. I just think that the DS tracks get a major boost as a retro track in Mario Kart Wii. And this one is a particular favourite of mine. I like the layout of this one a little bit. It's not one of the best, but it's like several sort of ways to go through it. That bit with the pokies. There's that twisty, drifty area, which I think is particularly nice. Inwards drift is outright broken in that area, in my opinion, but it's not like an outwards drift that can't do it either. It just clicks. I like this track a fair bit. It's also got a nice vibe of Super Mario Bros. 3 to it to me, with the angry sun being in the sky, for example. What about the vehicle? The vehicle feels the bubble bike actually feels a lot like the Mac bike. So that's kind of nice. It's got a nice inwards drift. I like the look of it. Koopa Troopa's one of my favourite ones, by the way. Double Dash. Double Dash also has a Koopa Troopa, but it also has a Paratroopa as a playable racer. Paratroopa was always one of my favourites to play as in Double Dash. Not only because I genuinely like the look of the red shell Paratroopa, but yeah, no item for me. But I also really like the triple red shells that you can get. Double Dash is probably the most unique Mario Kart, even if I don't care for it that much because of its handling. I always liked picking the Paratroopa and often Diddy Kong, if I was being proper, want and win thing. Because the red shells were useful for offense and advancing up while hindering your opponent. And the giant banana was useful for placing tracks for your opponents to go past. I just liked it. Anyway, that's that. That was the Desert Hills. And now we're going to be playing as one of my favourite middleweights, Yoshi. I love Yoshi. I can't wait for Woolly World. I want Woolly World. Let Woolly World come out. The Dolphin Dasher. The Green Dolphin Dasher. I don't think there were green dolphins in Mario. Right. Bowser's Castle free from the Game Boy Advance. I think this is actually my favourite Game Boy Advance one. This is my favourite Game Boy Advance Bowser's Castle. So it was nice to see it in Mario Kart Wii. Just clicks a nice lot. I love this one. It might be because of its appearance partly. I don't care for the other visual aesthetic of the Bowser's Castle areas in Super Circuit, whereas I just genuinely like the colour scheme for this one. Good start ruined! Oh well. Let's keep going anyway. Wow! Lava. Anyway, yeah. This is one of my favourite tracks from Super Circuit. It's nice to see it in Mario Kart Wii. I love the horns. I've not touched on that. I like how the horns go do 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 do. how awesome is that piece of music? All of the times it's been remixed, and it's still catchy almost every single time you hear it. I think that's just evidence of how good that song is. The Mario Overworld theme is one of the best pieces of music I've heard. Right, the Dolphin Dasher. I really like the feel of the Dolphin Dasher. In fact, you know how I said the Mac Bike is my main vehicle whenever I'm playing this to win? I might change that to the Dolphin Dasher now. The Dolphin Dasher just fit, it clicked. I really like this vehicle. And it looks better than the Mac Bike to boost. So yeah, I'm going to be probably changing my to win vehicle to a degree. That's been happening. As far as karts go, that's definitely changed. The track itself, again, it's my favourite of the Bowser's Castle tracks in the Game Boy Advance, but that doesn't mean it was a particularly good track still. Bowser's Castle and Super Circuit's tracks weren't really all that awesome in my mind. I like them, but they're not really all that awesome. And there's not really that much wiggle room in some of them. This is still, I don't know, I can't really explain why I like this Bowser's Castle, I just do. The start of the race was fun, by the way. I'll say that again, it's more interesting looking at a race when it's not going particularly well. Like here, I get blue shelled. And it doesn't matter, they're not close enough to take the lead from me. That's not that exciting to watch. It's not that exciting to try and speak over either as a result. But yeah, not that bad. The track itself is not awful, it's just not particularly brilliant either, and I don't know why I like it. It's the thing, I really do like this one, but I couldn't tell you why. The kart itself is brilliant, I like how the kart handles, but that's all I can really say. And yes, I said kart. Someone pointed out that I called the torpedo a kart earlier. This game is called Mario Kart. I will call the bikes karts if I want, even if they're not karts. Right, so, heavyweights. One of my favourite heavyweights is Bowser. And we're going to be doing this on the Phantom, which, admittedly, it took me... I won both Desert Ruins and Bowser's Castle with it, but it took me a while to get the hang of this one, and I don't think I've got the hang of it with DK's Jungle either that nicely. You'll see what I mean. As for the track, this was one of my favourite courses in the Mario Kart 64. It just looks nice. It's got a nice sort of layout to the track. I love how the Mario Kart tracks, by the way, have nice unique layouts for practically their whole, okay, Green Shell, don't do your job. I still find it's kind of funny too. The reason I'm not drifting there is because the Phantom, as you will see here, no you won't because I'm still just turning. The Phantom's drift is very outwards. It's a very outward sort of drift and I'm not a big fan of it. But what I got in the habit of doing throughout the previous two races is, and I don't know if I've said this with another vehicle, the Wario bike probably is another one I could have mentioned this with. But while you're drifting, if you turn right at the end of the drift, it actually doesn't do that. Okay. This first lap didn't go that well, did it? If you're drifting, then right as you do the turbo boost, you actually have better turning than normal, I've found. That's how that's how I started using the Phantom. Okay? Just seem to have better. The drift itself is pretty naff, but I had a pretty decent sort of turn at the end of said drift. So I usually get my turbo boost and then I do the turn. Alright. Anyway, let's fight our way back up to the first place position. I do love how this race was going for that lap. It was... I didn't speak that much about it because I was trying to talk about how I was using the Phantom, but That was so lucky. That was so lucky. If that bullet bill was still going on at that point, then I would have likely been massacred by it when I boosted into it with that golden mushroom. I'd have been slaughtered. I was so lucky that that bullet bill wore off there and then. Anyway, let's go catch DK, who's using the Wario bike. This is funny. First and second place are the heavyweights on the outwards drifting bikes. Also invincibility to lightning. Right. Away with you, DK. The Phantom's got really nice top speed, I'll give it that. I don't think it's particularly bad at accelerating up to it either, which might sound a bit odd. I think the stats page said that it was. I don't particularly find turning with it to be that much of a hassle after the drift thing that I started doing, I noticed. I don't know why, I've never noticed that before, but yeah, when I was doing the first 2 races, I noticed I had a better turnout of a drift. So, there. It clearly paid off because I came back from 10th. Someone dropped a star, man. Right. So there we go. That was the Phantom. But these are all racers we've seen in the races before. How about we go to someone new? How about we play as me? Spell that however you want. And we are going to be using the standard vehicle because we are not a Mario All-Star. We are just some random nobody who decided to take part with them. We are just some standard guy, so we are only worthy of some standard vehicle. The GameCube Mario Circuit. This is my favourite Mario circuit in the games. Although I will say Mario Kart 8 competed with it. This is easily my... Prior to Mario Kart 8, this was easily my favourite Mario circuit. Now it's just my favourite Mario circuit. It's only just. Mario Kart 8's nearly took the title. But there's still so much in this one that I like more. The chain chomp, for example. I like the chain chomp. And if you're struggling in positions, it can actually be you can actually, you know, turbo boost your way through that grass. Also these piranha plants here. I like how dynamic the terrain of the stage. I like how the stage has 2 different sorts of terrain in it as well. I like how there's that sandy area with the bumps to jump up and down on. And there's this road area, red and blue. Mario and Sonic have joined forces to prevent me from winning this race. It will not be enough. I want to see that at some point, by the way, Nintendo. Sonic in Mario Kart just as Sonic, like nothing else. Or Kirby with the Warp Star. You teased me with that throughout Smash. Why not actually let it happen? The Warp Star is brilliant. You don't even need to do that many adjustments. Underwater, Kirby can swim. It's decent enough. You can survive with underwater on the Warp Star. Ground, sorted. Air, you don't even need to change the Warp Star. You can glide on the Warp Star itself. I'd love to see Kirby in a Mario Kart sort of game. And they teased us with it during the build-up to Smash. I was so annoyed with that trailer because of that until I saw how Rosalina played. Alright, anyway. Standard bike is standard. The Mii is standard. I think he's got different sort of statistics on how he works and different vehicles he can use based on how tall and fat you make your Mii. But that's it. There's nothing else really special about him. Otherwise, the circuit, I love the amount of Mario in it. That's something I really love about it. It's got a nice... these turns here are really nice, and I love the chain chomp, practically forcing you to go on the outside. And I like the desert-y sort of sandy area. I like the jumping and stuff on the hills there. And I like the piranha plants. I don't know, the GameCube Mario Circuit's all been one of my favourite ones for a long time. Mario Kart 8's nearly took the crown from it, but it remains my favourite. Anyway, that's the Leaf Cup. It's not really that great, but it is good. That's what like I said in part 1, the only dud in my opinion in Mario Kart Wii is Mushroom Gorge. I still really like these tracks in Mario Kart Wii. So yeah, it just clicks. I love them. I'm on the podium, and I'm clearly the force of evil because I was working with Bowser Jr. and Dry Bones to get 2 leaves. The cup is a lie. I'll see you next time.